Hello, 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 Earth Wizards. Happy Wednesday. I'm going to tag a few of you, see if anybody's going to jump on. Hi, Andrew. Welcome. So grateful to be here in the Earth Wizard group. It's like my favorite group on Facebook. One of my favorite groups on Facebook is this group, the Art Wizards. I love seeing all the pictures of the art being posted in here and all the different amazing things. Hi, Sandra. So, my name is Amy Shine, for any of you that don't know me. Hi, Sandra. Thank you. And I am secretly a fairy in a human body. I am here today to talk about nature spirits. And I do really mean that. I am more like a fairy than I am like a person. And I've always been very like a fairy. And I've had a strong connection to the nature spirits for many years without knowing that I had a connection. So today we're going to be talking about nature spirits. If you didn't get the message. This is going to be the whole month of February. Monica Gilman is creating this. She's also, Talk to the Plants. She's also another fairy friend of mine. Alison Cox, another fairy friend. Monish and Satu, all very different spirits, all very different beings and creatures. And we're going to be talking here monthly, not monthly, for the whole month of February, every week, one live a week with each one of us, talking about nature spirits. So, with that, how many of you have a communion with the nature spirits, have always been connected to the nature spirits, but never was able to define it? And so you've never actually acknowledged how much you are in communion with the nature spirits. Ooh, everything that is times the gods of it can be destroyed and uncreated, please. Right around about the buck on the shirts with COVID minutes. I say that because I know that when I was younger and when I was a child, I played with the nature spirits all day long. Well, how do I know that? Because I played with the earth. I climbed trees, I played in the dirt, I ran up mountains, I ran through hills. That was my childhood. And I know that the nature spirits live with the earth. The nature spirits are energies that are part of the earth's energies. It's part of the earth's biology. So whenever you have the earth, the nature spirits are part of that. Now, from us, over time, not acknowledging them, not engaging in them, they start to become less present in our world. But that doesn't mean they're not around and they're not here. And as kids, we have this natural sense of play and wonder and joy and exploration. And we have a natural communion with the nature spirits and with the earth as kids. So how many of you as kids played with the nature spirits, played with the fairies, but it was beyond logical, sensical proof? Wow. And everywhere you give that up because someone told you it wasn't real, can we now destroy and uncreate it, please? We're right, wrong, good, bad, pop on the shirts, boys, povits, and beyonds. So how old were you when you gave up the play, the wonder, and the joy you had with the nature spirits? Wow. And who did you give that up for? Whose reality did you make more real than the wonder, the joy, and the play you had with the earth and all the spirits of the earth? Wow, so everything that is, and everywhere you adopted the presumptive reality of your parents and your family, that magic and the nature spirits were not real, can we destroy and uncreate that, please? Very ground, good, bad, the pop on shirts, boys, bobs, and beyonds. So some of you might have heard that, what we're talking about in Access at the moment is presumptive realities. So presumptive realities is where you've already presumed what is. So some of you, even as kids, may not even have had much play and wonder with the nature spirits. maybe some of you, and you can just ask, did you come in from other lifetimes with the presumptive reality that the nature spirits did not exist? Wow, everything that is times a gazillion. So all the presumptive realities you have and all the adopted presumptive realities you have that the nature spirits are not real and could never be real and are just a figment of your imagination. Wow, can we destroy and uncreate that now, please? All right, round good bad, back on a shirts, boys, forwards, me hands. Hi, Miriam from Syria. Hi, Claudia. Hi, everyone joining. Wow. That's pretty big. The presumptive realities that the nature spirits are not real and they're a figment of your imagination. Who did you take that on from? And will you destroy and uncreate that now, please? Return it to sender with consciousness attached. Oh, right, wrong, good, bad, popcorn, shirts, boys, bobas, and hands. So, one of the questions someone asked me to speak about in today's live was, how do you be more present with the nature spirits? To be more present with the nature spirits, you first have to get out of any solid conclusions, presumptive realities you have around what the nature spirits are, how they should appear to you, how they should be present with you, how they should look, how they should feel, how they should touch you, how they should appear to you. So all of that can be presumptive realities. You've already presumed what is. And how many of you have adopted presumptive realities, like you bought from stories, from fairy tales, from Disney, from books of, oh, the fairies are little women with wings on their back and dresses, or the elves are small little people. So all the presumptive realities you've bought about the nature spirits from any book, TV, fairy tale, song, movie, pictures you were fed, anywhere you brought in any presumptive realities about the fairies and about the nature spirits from any reality, space, dimension, lifetime, can we now revoke, recant, rescind, renounce, destroy, and create all of that, please? Wow, right, we're going to have a back on a shirts, boys, bobas, and hands. So a big part of, we teach the Spirits of the Earth class. It's a Talk to the Entities specialty class. If you haven't taken that class, it's a great beginning. It's a great introduction to working with the Spirits of the Earth. And a big part of that class is clearing the points of views you have around the Spirits of the Earth, around the nature spirits, that doesn't allow you to receive them. Because any point of view, any presumptive reality, any conclusion you have around what the nature spirits are or how they should show up will greatly limit you receiving their presence. And that was someone's question. How can I be more present with them? Be more space. Be less defined. The less definition you have of you, the less definition you have of the nature spirits, the more present you will be able to be with them and they will be able to be with you. That's why as a child it's easier to play and connect with them, because you don't have as many definitions of yourself when you're a child. And you haven't defined the world. You haven't put the world into boxes. So all the definitions you have of you, and that doesn't allow you to be present with the nature spirits and doesn't allow the nature spirits to be present with you, can we now destroy and uncreate these? Right, wrong, good, bad, talk, on shirts, boys, bobas, and hands. So Idalina says, when I was a kid, the spirits of the water were my best friends. They contributed to me every day. I love that. What if they could still be your best friends? What if you could still connect with the water spirits? So when you go into water, when you go into the ocean, there's actually a lake behind me right now. When you're near bodies of water, what if you asked, okay, spirits of the water, what would it take for you to reveal yourself to me? What would it take for me to perceive the spirits of the water here? So you're not looking to feel, you're looking to perceive. If I'm looking to feel the spirits of the water, I've already defined what that is. I've already concluded, I'm already controlling that. And that's a big part of hello, nature spirits. Talking to the nature spirits is, letting go of your control. And so the beautiful thing is when we're in nature, when we are in the ocean or we are up in the mountain or in the forestry, it's harder to do control, it's harder to be in your mind, and that is why it's easier to connect to them there. Yes, there is more nature spirits in nature, and at the same time, the earth starts to melt your mind, so it's easier for you to perceive them. So what would it be like to perceive the spirits of the water? And when you're in the water, what play can you have with the ocean? What fun, what flow, what movement can you be in the ocean? So one of the things for me is that when I am out of my head and in my body is when I'm moving. So as I move, I let go of control of my mind. And as I move, I get present with my body. As I get present with my body, I get present with the earth. And it's in that out of control play and movement that the nature spirits start to become more alive and more present with me. And I become more alive and present with them. The nature spirits live in a world of play and wonder. They don't live in a serious world. So if you're being serious and in your head and controlling, you've lost connection with the nature spirits. If you're in that play, that flow, that joy, that wonder, you're in the world of the nature spirits. So you want to live in a world with them. They're not going to come to your world of control, anger, definition, conclusion. But if you go to their world, play, joy, ease, receiving, like even hearing the kids right now playing. Even though they like to scare the ducks away, so I don't know how much the nature spirits might want to play with it. But they do have an aliveness, an ecstasy, a vibration. Now, what if you could start to become more alive? What if you could allow your body to become more alive? How much more would you actually be able to receive the nature spirits? I swear to God, these are kind of demon kids. They like to run, they like to go screaming after the ducks, and then the ducks go running into the water. So I'm not sure how much the nature spirits would play with those kids. But what if the nature spirits would like to play with you? And what if you could start to include the nature spirits? And one of the things, so when I talk about the movement, is that's what it is for me. So for me, when I move, there's a play in it. So what is it for you that when you choose it, there's a play in it for you, and there's a space for you where you don't go into your mind? Because one of the questions Donna actually asked me was how to connect with the nature spirits when not in nature. Great question, right? She lives in New York. She's surrounded by buildings. Well, what I would say is like, what is it when you engage in it, there's a sense of oneness, communion. There is no separation. So for some of you, it may be like artwork. It may be painting. It may be singing. It may be gardening. It could be cooking. If you can find what it is that you love to do that has no thought process in it, no control, you may find the nature spirits are easier to connect to when you're engaging and playing in those activities, in those movements. So you don't necessarily have to be in nature to have the nature spirits around you. So what can you be and what can you ask for that would invite the nature spirits back to your land, to your building, to your house, to your apartment, and everything that doesn't allow you to ask for all the nature spirits that would like to play with you. And all the nature spirits you have a unique communion and connection to, because all of you are going to have a different connection to different nature spirits. And what if you didn't even have to know what that was? What if you could just ask, okay, How many different nature spirits have I known throughout all lifetimes? Well, a lot. So now, what would it be like if I could invite all those nature spirits I've had any communion, connection to from any lifetime, space, dimension, reality, any earth, back to me now? Would you come back and play with me? Would you come back and work with me? It's another thing. How many nature spirits would like to work with you? Cooperate with you. We talk a lot about cooperation in the Talk to the Entities beginning class. You learn about working jointly. So how many nature spirits want to work with you to create a lighter, brighter, thriving earth? And what if you are a key to bringing the nature spirits back to the earth and to the planet? And what if you are a key and the nature spirits are waiting for you to invite them back? So the more that you go to question, because another question someone had was, how do I talk to them and how do I hear them? The more that you go to question, the more questions you ask, like, okay, what would it take for the nature spirits to come back? What nature spirits would like to come back to my house, building, land, to the space around me? What nature spirits are here that haven't been acknowledged? What are the different type of nature spirits that are here? Who are the nature spirits in bodies that I haven't acknowledged? What are the different shapes the nature spirits may have? So when you look at the tree, do you see just the tree, or do you see the shapes within the tree? What nature spirits are hiding within the tree? And how are they showing themselves to you that if you would start to acknowledge it, would strengthen their presence and their communion with you? One of the things I did too to get more in communion with the nature spirits is I educated myself. I started reading books about fairies. I started reading about myths, history, myths, mythology of fairies, of leprechauns, of mermaids. I started looking at I talk a lot about fairies. I have a massive connection to fairies. I grew up in Ireland where we actually do protect fairy forts in Ireland. So somewhere the people are still knowing that fairies are real, and we protect those fairy forts in the land in Ireland. And I've always had this massive connection to the fairies. But for you, it may not be the fairies. It may be more like, maybe it's divas, maybe it's sprites, maybe it's water spirits. Maybe it isn't even something as defined as fairies. Maybe it's more just like fire spirits or water spirits or the earth spirits. And so if you can start to go, okay, what pulls me? What nature spirits am I really drawn to? And then what if we just like start to look at, okay, how can I educate myself a bit more? And as you educate yourself, like what I invite you to do is to challenge, like, is this true? You know, use the access consciousness tools light and heavy. There was one book I was reading about fairies, and some things were light and some things were heavy. So I would just ask, okay, what part of this is true and what part of this is a lie? And some of it was very like human concepts. And so I just had to acknowledge, okay, that's a human concept. That's not true for me. And that's not true for what I know. And so you can really start to go, okay, what information is there? What's true about that for me? How can I use this? It's a Gary Douglas question. How can I use this? How can you use the nature spirits? How can the nature spirits use you? I also like watch a lot of like different things on Netflix. Like Cursed was one that I really loved about fae creatures. And there's like lots of other ones. Some of them are like, again, some of them are light with like some kind of heavy concepts. But as you watch them, look for the parts that light you up. Look for the parts that go, oh wow, and ask questions about that. And then ask to see and have more of that in your world. The other question, and I don't know what time we're at, how long I've been going for. Finish up after this. So the last question and was, how do I talk to the nature spirits and how do I hear them? So that's the piece. How do I hear them? So as to this, all the presumptive realities you have around how the nature spirits should talk to you, how you should hear them, and the ways you should be able to hear them can be now destroying them completely. Right round the back, not on the shirts, boys, always in the hands. So you're not going to hear all the nature spirits the same way. So this is where you got to go on your own journey and going, okay, how can I hear the nature spirits today? Like, how do the spirits of the water communicate to me today? Because everyone's going to be different and receive information differently, and every day is going to be different awareness. So how you hear the nature spirits yesterday may not be the same today. Some people are very visual. Some people are very, like they get a lot of words through their heads. Some people get a lot of sensations. They get a lot of energies through their body. You could be all of the above and more. So, number one, if you didn't have to hear the nature spirits in a linear, logical way, how are they talking to you that you have not been receiving? And you can ask them too, like, okay, nature spirits, what have you been speaking to me that I have not been hearing? And is there a way for you to speak to me that I could hear it? And if you really are okay at like words, can you give me some words, if possible? If not words, can you give me some images? If not images, can you give me some sensations? Can you come into my dream time if you can't get through during the day? So again, the more you ask questions, the more you explore, the more you can expand your energy library with the nature spirits. And this is going to be a really unique journey for you to go on. Like, I wouldn't try to compare like how you might receive the nature spirits to anyone else. Like Monica is incredible. She talks to plants like I've never seen anything like it. And she has this amazing way of communicating with nature and with the earth. And that's her way. If I was to compare myself to her, I would totally invalidate what I know. And I've done that in the past. I've compared myself to other people and then told myself that I didn't know anything. But I have my way. And sometimes it's movement and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just sitting next to the tree. Sometimes it's just letting my whole back melt into the tree and asking the nature spirits to contribute. The more you acknowledge your way, the more you acknowledge what you are receiving, the more you acknowledge what you are communicating, what you are perceiving, the more that will grow, that will expand. And then you can receive from other people and the way they play with the nature spirits. Like Alison has this incredible capacity with like animals and creatures, and like I was out with her in South Africa, and like this like moth like landed on her glass and then on her face, you know, like that, like, and so she has her way. What is your way? And what if you could begin to find your way? And what if your way was never the same? What if it's always evolving, expanding? And what can we all learn from each other? What if there is no one way of talking to the nature spirits? But what if they do just want you to talk to them? Like, really, what if it was like sitting down, having a cup of tea next to your tree and being like, hi, who's here? Who'd like to talk to me? And yes, you may feel like you're crazy, but that's okay. Carry on regardless. So guys, I hope you got something from today, and I hope you just go and find your own way of playing with the nature spirits. And please share it. Well, I mean, don't share it everywhere. Some people can't receive that. But share it in here in the Art Wizards group where people are open to this magic of being and playing with the art and playing with the nature spirits. And ask for your fairy friends to show up too. That's what I ask for. And I have lots of fairy friends. I ask for fairy friends to show up and play with me in bodies, you know, and I ask for fairy friends to create with me in my business. I ask for fairies to show up as lovers. Like, what if the nature spirits could contribute in lots of different ways? Okay, I'm going to stop talking now before I go on way too much. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Amy Shine, and thank you, Monica, for inviting me on. And we'll see you again sometime.